I think we'll get started. Welcome everyone to the Forsheimer Honors College Family Session. We're excited to have you join us this evening. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves and then we'll get started, and that'll allow a few extra minutes for some people to kind of trickle in. My name is Jackie Coppell. I'm the Associate Dean of the Honors College. I am also an honors alumna. I teach history and computer science and our University 101, which is our intro to university life for our honors students. I'm going to pass it to Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill. Say hi, Bill. I heard that. There you go. I'm a professor of history. I've been with the Honors College since 2001. I teach American history and reacting to the past simulation version, which we'll talk more about a little bit later. I also teach a University 101, and I do whatever it is they tell me to do. So I'll go to Mohini next.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining. So my name is Mohini Nieves and I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Associate Director of the Honors College and I'm also an honors alumna. When I was here at PACE, I studied biology, psychology, and neuroscience, which is why those are my cohorts. And so I advise the science students, including environmental, health science students, psychology, undecideds, and I teach University 101 for primarily those majors in addition to in the psychology department. And I am going to pass it to Flora.
Hi, everyone. My name is Flora. I'm the academic advisor for the performing arts major students, and I am also the coordinator for the mentoring program in the New York City campus. So I look forward to connecting with you all. I also am an alumna of PACE. I just earned my master's in public administration, nonprofit management, spring of last year. So welcome, and I will pass it over to Emma.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Kleinberg Orlick. I advise the Dyson Creative Majors, since Film and Screen Studies, Art, Communications, Media Studies, English Language and Literature. I also teach UNV 101 first year seminar to all of those cohorts. And I'm going to pass it to Justin.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Justin Ritchie. I'm an academic advisor here. I advise the School of Education students, and then I also advise the Dyson Social Sciences as well. Additionally, I teach a University 101 section for those students, and I also supervise the Honors Advisory Board, which is essentially an internship that is operated by the Honors College. And I'll pass it to Shadman.
Hi everyone, my name is Shadman Rahman. I advise the Lubin School of Business students, economics students, as well as our math students on the New York City campus. I am also an honors alum. I will be passing it on to Michelle.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle, and I am the staff associate for both the New York City and the Pleasantville campus, but my office is located in Pleasantville, and I am also the advisor for the Honors Council, which is a group of students who help organize events throughout the year for students to get involved within our department. And I'm going to pass it to Allie.
Hi everyone, my name is Allie. I am a junior nursing major on the Pleasantville campus. I'm not an advisor, but I sit on our honors council on Pleasantville campus, and I'm also an active member of PACE Nursing Student Association.
We also have two New York City students on Sky and Ben, but I think their cameras are giving them a little issue, so that you're going to probably wind up meeting them towards the end of our presentation. But we will pass that now to our admissions liaison, who we love dearly, Juanita.
Hi, everybody. My name is Juanita. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission on PACE's New York City campus. I am also the Honors Liaison, and so I'm here to just answer any question you guys have.
All right, so then we are going to jump in and get started. So this picture here is from our Welcome Week. Mohini's going to be talking about that with you all in a little bit, but this is our Welcome Week on the New York City campus. So this was our freshman class that we brought in this past summer. So they started with us in the fall, and we are joined every year for our welcome week by the president, President Krisloff, and then the interim provost, Jonathan Hill. Apparently it's not sharing. Hold on. And we tested this.
It might just be the full screen, Jackie.
We'll try again.
There we
Look, works. All right. Second time's the charm. As I said, we were joined by our President Krisloff and our interim provost, Jonathan Hill, and we have a new provost who will be joining us this year, Ali Carmen Chelman. And you met most of our staff. We have a few people that are missing, though. Tyler, who is here in our yellow glasses. Tyler is our thesis advisor. Our students work with him in their junior and senior year to start their thesis, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. We are also missing our two Pleasantville academic advisors. This is Taylor Powers, our senior honors advisor, and Nori Barnes, our honors academic and success advisor. They're both currently on leave right now, but we'll be back shortly, and we'll be back before the school year starts. And right now the New York City team is handling both. And so we can talk about that from both sides. And we have Ali to help us as well from the Pleasantville point of view. I think that's it.
Alrighty, so my job is to introduce you to the honors mentality, how we are different from high school, how we are different from other colleges that you might be considering. And the first thing you get to do in college that you certainly didn't get to do in high school and may not be able to do elsewhere is choose your professor. So as a public service, I've put on here a cartoon of the 9 different types of college teachers you are likely to encounter. Now, you should note that among them is one that I self-identify as. Remember, I'm an American historian and I teach with a simulation pedagogy called Reacting to the Past. But this is called audience participation. You didn't just think you were going to sit there and do nothing. No, now it is your chance to use that chat button and tell me, of those 9, the steady droner, the teaching assistant, the big shot, the beloved babbling grandpa, the genius from another dimension, old gloom and doom, single theory to explain everything maniac, incomprehensible brilliant foreigner, or nice little nobody, which one am I? Please put your choices into the chat. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. Thank you, Travis. The genius from another dimension usually gets you awarded a degree, but we, can't afford it anymore. Keep going. I'm waiting. Haven't gotten there yet, though I may seem babbling. Nope, not genius. Appreciate the compliment. No, boy. Single theory, Jennifer DeFilippis, you win the prize. I am a single theory to explain everything maniac. And if you are lucky enough to take one of my freshman seminars, Learning Communities, you will enjoy that treat. But that's the important thing to note. We pick in the honors curriculum, and I'm in charge of that, we pick the best possible professors from the available talent on both New York City and Pleasantville campus to teach honors students. We do our best, but you will have the choice for what classes and what professors you take, because in college it's the quality of the professor more than anything else that will make your experience. Next slide. So these are the basic academic requirements to graduate from the Honors College. First of all, grades. I know as honors students, you've never had to worry about grades before, and I certainly don't think you'll have to worry about them much in the next 4 years, but we do require you to have an overall grade point average of a 3.3, which is a B plus on a 4-point scale. Second, we need you to participate in honors classes and honors experiences. Those come in a variety of different ways. The most important way, at least from my faculty perspective, is honors classes. We don't give you more work, we give you better work. And we do not add on to your particular curriculum. Our requirements overlay the requirements, so you are not doing any more extra credit or any more extra courses with your honors curriculum. There are other honors experiences too. You can do internships for honors credit. You can study abroad for honors credit. You can participate in the Honors Council and various other honors activities for honors credit. So we want you to do at least one of those every semester for your 8 semesters, 4 years here. And finally, we need you to do a senior honors thesis. That is a capstone to your best work as a college student. That gets to show off what you know and how you can do things. It can be a classic research paper. It can be a creative thesis, a play, a film, a computer app. Those sorts of things are all possible. But the critical thing, just like you choose professors, is for your thesis, you will choose a professor to work closely with, most often in your major, but doesn't have to be. And you will work with him, her, them throughout your senior year to produce an absolutely best piece of work, and you will display it at the honors conference in the end of each semester. So that's what we offer you curriculum-wise for your requirements to graduate. So here are some of the learning communities that we have involved here. Classes come in a variety of types. Honors freshmen take honors learning communities. Everyone at PACE has to do one of them at some point, but we have specially designed ones. I draw your attention to the middle box on the left-hand side, the woman wielding the axe. That is a reacting to the past simulation of the Henry VIII game, which actually is currently being done in the spring. We're about to execute Thomas More tomorrow. These sorts of things deeply engage you in their particular moment in time as a character, as a role, with objectives and victory or losing as a possibility. Or in the case of this poor student who did recover from his axe wounds, sometimes you do get killed. But there are other courses. Up in the upper left, you see a woman who is in our design factory learning community, showing off what she was able to produce there. On the upper right, you have from our learning community with Jackie, their trip to, I don't know whether it was the first semester or second semester, but they all went to the Metropolitan Museum to see the hieroglyphics, which they were trained in reading, among other things. Middle right is another different reacting game. That one is set in Greenwich Village, involves suffrage and labor and creative work. Over on the lower right, you have another one of Jackie's courses, Going to Egypt by Means of Virtual Reality. It's hard to show on here, but that's what they do. And finally, you have in the lower left one of our nursing students who's engaged in a clinical experience there. We have a different menu. Every semester is a different set of choices, some for freshmen for next fall, some for beyond that. They are requirements, they are electives, they are major courses. They are designed to be specific for your needs that you choose. And our professors, the courses fall into categories where you have all honors students or just part of the class is honors, but either way, you get honors credit for it. With our professors on our list, those are the best courses PACE has to offer, period. Now, you also can do things that involve travel. You also can do things, as I mentioned, that involve experiences like internships and working for honors. But the idea is that you have a different quality of experience than you would in your average curriculum, whether it's at PACE or at some other school. We will deeply engage you viscerally so that you can feel, not merely learn the material. Next.
Just to add on, I'll say Sky and Ben, who I know are now on the call, can speak to in the chat or going forward at the end. They both took my course, several of my courses, so I think I even see Ben on the screen. Ben's back down here. So they can kind of talk about that, and Ali can also talk about the kind of clinical experience. If you do have any questions about that, feel free to put it in the Q&A, and they can answer that throughout or at the end.
I will answer the travel question in the chat, so we can go on to the next slide, please.
So a large part of the honors experience does relate to advising. As you can tell, we have a lot of advisor on our teams because we want to make sure that our students are receiving the personalized care that they deserve as honor students. So every honor student is going to get an honors advisor, which is usually based off of their primary major. We also try to make it that the University 101 instructor is also that honors advisor, and that relationship starts even during the summer. For many students, it even starts in May when we make our schedules, except for SANS, where SANS don't have University 101 with us, but they do have Flora to see it for academic advising, and they are well connected with their program heads, typically because there's some major related stuff that they need to be involved in. And so it's a collaborative relationship between Flora and the program heads, but for every other student in honors, they are primarily working with their honors advisor. And so what does honors advising mean? These are some of the things that we help with. For us, it's not just the academic advising. It includes the personal advising. It means talking about roommate situations and career options and maybe all the uncertainties that come from the college time. We're here to really support our students with all of that. And so for a lot of our students, most of the time we're building out their 4-year or 3-year plans, and we say 4 or 3, sometimes 3.5, is because a lot of our honor students are coming in with transfer credits, and we can talk a little bit about that later. And so we want students to get the most out of their experience and also graduate early if that's something they desire, if they're coming with a lot of credits from APs, IBs, or college enrollment. We also help with courses, and so whether that's courses related to the curriculum, honors courses, or just things that they need for graduation, we definitely connect you that way. I talked about the personal advising. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to, and honors advisors are there to help with that. An example could be coming in if you're having trouble with like a professor or having trouble with sort of a situation with a friend or something, you want to talk through with it. We're here for that. We also help with grad school planning. So a lot of our honor students do decide to go through grad school. I do the pre-med and pre-health advising, and Bill does the pre-law advising. So students who are looking into that, we help. Prestigious scholarships. So a lot of our students qualify for those as well. Bill does Watson, in which this past week we learned that one of our honor students received Watson, and Ben, who's on this call, is actually a Watson fellow as well. So we can share about that. Internships, sometimes it's students bringing internships to us and they're asking, how do I get honors credit or I get credit in general? Other times it's honors alum and other people that we know in the field reaching out to us saying, hey, we have this internship opportunity. Do you have any student that might be a good fit for it? Study abroad, it can be a little complicated for certain majors for study abroad. And so as soon as a student indicates that, we build that into their plan and we help them figure out all the parts of navigating that. We also might help support students with outside opportunities. Sometimes it's just connecting students to create a network and have some informational interviews with maybe some of our honors alumni. It could also mean going to a job fair, which I know like Jackie did that recently for her Seidenberg cohort to build additional opportunities in for students. We help with research, connecting students to the right professors, with the thesis process, and a big thing that Jackie and I especially, but the whole of our team help with is navigating PACE's bureaucracy. What we try to do is if you have any issues, come to us and we can help you just like figure out who's the best person to go to. So instead of maybe just emailing general offices, we can gather your situation, help you as best as we can, and then connect you to the best person to get you that answer right then and there. The last thing we may do is audits. And so we want to make sure our students are graduating on time. And we do this several times during the year. So that way, everything that you're working towards is being addressed on track and so forth. And so some of these images here kind of just feature our advisors with their students at honors award ceremony. We also have a picture of one of our students who created a puppet show thesis. And so that's Jackie and I and our former thesis advisor with Ashwin. And then, like you said, some more pictures from our honors award ceremony.
So one of the ways we create community is through housing. So Mohini talked a lot about advising, which is a way that we create community between the staff and the students. But housing is how we create community. One of the ways how we create community between the students. So if you are choosing to reside on campus for your first year at PACE, you need to live in honors housing. There is no exceptions except for accommodation process, which would mean medical accommodations. If you needed a medical single for any reason and you would apply for medical accommodation. So if you are choosing to reside on campus for your first year, you need to live in honors housing. After that, it becomes optional. So I'll talk a little bit about our honors floors and then why we have this policy. So in the fall, our floors in New York City are going to be in 182 Broadway and in Maria's Tower. So Maria's Tower was under renovation. Mohini lived there when she was a student, and we have taken it offline for the last about 2 years or so, and it was renovated. I did a hard hat tour of it recently. It looks incredible, wonderful views. And so we are going to have Maria's Tower opening back up in the fall and 182 Broadway for our freshmen in New York City. 182 Broadway is more a sort of like hotel style, which would mean that it has anywhere from 2 to 4 students living in a room with a bathroom enclosed in that room. And Sky, if you have any questions about that, Sky lived in 182 Broadway and can answer those in the chat. And Maria's Tower consists of doubles. The whole floor is doubles with 8 individual bathrooms in the middle of the floor. And the bathrooms consist of a sink, a toilet, and a shower, and you can lock that door. So while you're in that bathroom, you're the only one in it. It's communal in the sense that everyone has access to those 8, but once you're in it, you're the only one in it. And so it's sort of a mix of the two. And PACE takes care of those bathrooms as well, so you don't have to clean them. And so you have the 2 different kind of living styles. And as I said, Mohini lived in Maria's Tower back in the day. I have as well, so we could answer in the chat if you have questions about that. If you see any reference to 15 Beekman as an honors freshman floor, that would be our past 3 years. So that's just an old reference that might not be updated. For the fall, as I said, 182 Broadway and Maria's Tower. In the city, for our upperclassmen, we have 33 Beekman, which is also kind of hotel style, which is usually 2 to 3 students in a room with the bathroom included in that room. It's very similar to 182 Broadway. For Pleasantville, we have suite style, which is alumni hall. So each suite's a little bit different kind of configuration. There's a few rooms in each suite. Some have the bathroom in the sort of communal area of the suite. Some it's attached to one of the rooms within the suite. The layouts kind of vary. And that is Alumni Hall has been the honors housing for a while, and it's all the freshman housing as well. And Ali can kind of talk more about that if you have questions in the chat. And then we have Elm Hall for our upperclassmen. Now, why we require honor students to live together if they choose to reside on campus? Well, honor students are very similar to each other. They have similar interests, similar study habits, hobbies, everything. And we have found that when honor students live together, they have less roommate conflicts because they automatically just have so much in common, and they also understand the need for studying and kind of being prepared in school and all of that. And so we've seen less conflicts over the years when we switch to not requiring it to requiring it. We also want to have that honors community that's very important to us. And Chad's going to talk a little bit about family later in the dorms. So it's in our classes which Bill was talking about, and it's in our dorms. So that is a 24/7 basically community. And that's so our honor students can support each other and share textbooks and everything else like that, go to events together. We have found that our honor students who have lived together have stayed friends a decade later. Mohini recently got married, and her maid of honor was her random honors freshman year roommate. And some of her bridal party was from her honors floor. We have recently had several honors weddings of our former students who have gotten married. It's featured on our Instagram if you go back to February, right around Valentine's Day. Some great examples are Maddie and Sydney met on the honors floor, fell in love, and recently got married. We have John and Essence, the same thing happened, fell in love on the honors floor and recently got married. And we also have a lot of students who had their honors freshman roommate be the officiant or the bridesmaids or the groomsmen. And so we really have that strong community last long after they've left both honors housing and PACE. We have honors resident advisors, also known as RAs, on each floor, and they're there to be that link between or the liaison between the honor students and us. Ben is one of the current honors RAs for this year we're in, and he can talk, if you have any questions about that, he can talk about that in the chat. Honor students go first for placement in the dorms. We have, as I mentioned before, we have all kinds of different honors events, and we move in early. We move in at the end of August, which Mohini will be talking about soon. And we work with you to kind of coordinate that move in, and we're there for the process. And you can kind of see some of our pictures from the move in time from that week. All right, Flora.
Thank you. And although you're going to have your individual academic advisors, which, by the way, everyone here that's an advisor comes with a wealth of knowledge and a range of different educational and professional experiences. So aside from just tapping into that resource as an advisor, we don't want you to just take our word for it. We want you to have the experience from PACE, from honors, and hear that from someone that was just in your shoes not long ago. So with the mentoring program, you as an incoming freshman, you're paired with a current peer honors mentor. So this is someone, like I mentioned, that's probably a sophomore, junior, or senior. Those matches are based on your major, or if you would prefer maybe someone that has a certain shared interest. Maybe you like hiking, maybe you enjoy going to Broadway shows, and maybe your interest in terms of matching maybe more closely aligned to your extracurricular activities versus your major. We ask you to be specific in your mentee profile on what type of match you want. But really the point of the mentoring program is to guide you through your first year. of college. That's incorporating the summer before you start as well. So any preparation work that we can kind of tie as part of the mentoring program. So the mentoring program is essentially just a way to help you figure out everything that's going on within PACE, within honors. So that's an opportunity for you to have someone that's going to guide you through all of these steps. So, for example, any classes, any decisions related to the type of class, maybe the professor that's selected, or maybe just in general, if there's some moments or, some circumstances where you as a freshman are not sure what to do next. The mentoring program is that type of hub, that space where you can ask these questions. You can just understand that it is a safe space to be able to talk things out and to feel supported just outside of the advising experience. So that also kind of just ties to obviously school, but just in general, your future and being able to adjust to this new life experience. You're coming to college for the first time. Some of you are coming from out of state. Some of you are probably experiencing city life for the first time. So just making the overall adjustments, sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but it's also just very helpful in general just to know that you have a community that has your back to transition to this. So like I said, you'll never be unsure of like what's going on within honors, within PACE. So any messaging regarding important stuff such as registration deadlines, advising, any withdrawals, anything regarding like your bill, any reminders about connecting with student accounts, with financial aid, any support services departments, and then maybe anything fun that we would like for you to know. So that's including fun stuff that honors offers, the university in general, and then also some career development opportunities. PACE and honors uniquely have their own professional development events that we host throughout the academic year. So there are many opportunities for you to get information, like, as I mentioned, important and fun stuff that's within honors and PACE through this peer mentoring program. So with the mentor, basically every month you're going to be receiving this type of communication. So you're in the loop at all times. You know what's coming up. And at the end of the day, in general, it's someone that's in your corner and that's going to give you an up-to-date of what to expect and opportunities for you to connect with your mentor or the honors community at large on a month-to-month basis. So we look forward to receiving your mentee profiles, and please be as specific as possible so that we can match you with what you would envision that peer mentorship experience or relationship to be. Yes, and we look forward to connecting you with someone that can guide you through that path. As I mentioned, I'm the coordinator for the New York City campus, the mentoring program for New York City campus. So anyone in general that's an incoming freshman, you're welcome to reach out to me with any mentoring related questions. And throughout the year, I'm here to support you.
I'll just add Taylor Powers is our mentoring coordinator in Pleasantville. She's on maternity leave. So Michelle, Mohini, Flora, and myself, we're stepping in for this summer. And so we can answer questions. Allie was a mentor as well and can kind of answer questions. As Flora said, students will receive their mentor over the summer, ideally in June. And Mohini's going to kind of talk about the experience with the mentor at the end of August.
Yes. So, as we mentioned before, we are hosting our Honors Welcome Week. This is where all of our honor students who are planning on living on campus get to move in early. And for students who are not living on campus, commuters who can join in with those first year students and just get a sense of the community before classes start. So these are the dates. In New York City, we're August 26th to August 29th. And in Pleasantville, we're August 27th to 29th. So the students will be moving in who are living in the dorms on that first day listed. And it's great because that's a way for students to kind of settle in before everyone else, get a sense of the campus before other folks are on campus. And during Welcome Week, we have it broken down where you do different activities. So we'll have bonding activities mostly on the day after move-in. We also host information sessions where we're talking about student life experience, connecting with alumni, talking about University 101 time. We offer tours of PACE for that way you can see all the different resources that you might need to know of. So finding where university healthcare is, the counseling center, the library, where to print stuff. Your mentors are actually going to be the ones who's taking you around the campus to show you these places. So it's a great way to also get to know your mentor in a more casual way before the semester starts. For those in New York City, we have the opportunity for you to tour the city, and our honors mentors take you around the city in different areas, usually not near campus, but like further away. So they'll show you how to use the subway, the best way to get around, maybe like how to use the best resources like Google Maps, and kind of finding maybe some of those low cost places to check out. And like I said, mentors are a huge part of this because they really are the ones that know a lot more about the student experience in a more time sensitive way. So we're just here to kind of help with the smooth transition. Another benefit of Welcome Week, besides being able to get to find your classes and stuff, is you also get to know the honor staff a lot more. And so prior to like classes starting, sometimes that allows you to kind of get to know our personalities a bit, which can help when it comes to talking about things that maybe you're a little nervous to talk about initially. So that's Welcome Week. Our top picture is from our like bonding session. We had human bingo in the gym. Which it's fun because lots of people learn lots of random facts with each other. And then our picture below is in Pleasantville. That was the group picture with the mentors and the mentees from this past year's Welcome Week.
So we also have some additional perks. So the first perk is you are going to get access to the Honors Network of jobs, internships, and other opportunities that are provided from our alumni. The second perk that you will also be receiving as from being a member of the Honors College is priority registration for classes. So you will be registering around a day to 2 days ahead of the mainstream population. We also have honors only events. So for example, we host our own movie nights. We also provide $5 Broadway tickets to certain Broadway shows throughout the year. We also have apple and pumpkin picking events, cookies and conversation on the Pleasantville campus, Bagel Mondays, and many more. For example, we also have $5 Yankees tickets and Brooklyn Nets tickets. The fourth perk is a minimum of $15,000 scholarship. You can also apply for up to $1,000 for research. We also offer special research and travel opportunities. The New York City campus also has a 24/7 honors lounge with free coffee, tea, and hot chocolate, and also various themed study rooms. For example, we have a Disney themed study room, a Harry Potter study room, and also a Broadway specific study room. The Pleasantville campus also has a lounge that is open during business hours. It also has free coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. There's also honor leadership opportunities that the Honors College provides. Like Flora mentioned previously, she talked about the mentoring program. Justin's going to talk about the Honors Advisory Board and Honors Council a little bit later. Something else that you'll receive from being a member of the Honors College is honors distinction on your transcript and in the commencement book. You'll also receive an honors medallion and an honors certificate upon graduation. But the most important part about being in the Honors College is you'll also receive a small community where everyone is like a family. And some of the pictures that you're seeing on the screen, the top picture is from one of our movie nights with the whole staff dressed up. The second picture in the middle has all of our honor students enjoying the honors lounge. And then the third picture is our by-campus apple picking trip.
Just to kind of add to what Shad said, the priority registration for classes extends to even our incoming freshmen. So all of you, we are actually going to start making freshman schedules in less than a month. We'll be starting mid-April. So if you've deposited before May 1st, We will start schedule making at the end of April, and if you deposit right around May 1st, then we will make it at the beginning of May. So everybody in honors, aside from SANS, they have a different process, will have their schedule by Memorial Day. So the end of May, if not sooner, and SANS is usually the beginning of June, and that's because we have to work with them because you have different placements on vocal lessons and all kinds of other things, but you will still have your schedule as an honor student well before what we call our mainstream students. The other thing for small community where everyone is like family, we talk a lot about honors family, that this isn't just for the 4 years, this is for life. We spend a lot of time with our students long after they graduate as well, at weddings, baby showers, graduation parties for their masters and doctorates, and just kind of hanging out. We have alumni that just stop by and want to have kind of lunch or brunch with us and things like that. And that's really important to us to keep up those relationships. And that means a lot to us. And Justin's going to talk to you about some of the leadership opportunities we have.
How's it going, everyone? So both the Honors Advisory Board and Honors Council have been mentioned a few times so far. These are really excellent leadership opportunities that exist in the Honors College, and yes, they are available for first-year students. These are more or less internships that are run out of the Honors College, and so you get this opportunity to intern for the Honors College when you participate. We do a lot of great things. So if you follow us on Instagram, students essentially manage the entire Honors Instagram. If you read the Honors Herald, which is a publication kind of run by us, that is run entirely by honors students, and everything that is written there is by honors students. And then additionally, we put on a majority of the events that happen within the Honors College, on both campuses. So this is students will come up with these ideas and participate in putting them on. And so it feels very student driven as a part of this internship. We have the Honors Advisory Board, the New York City campus, and Honors Council on Pleasantville. And as you can see, the first picture on top right is the Honors Advisory Board, and then down below is the Honors Council. Although to the far right of that picture, that is actually Marvin Krislov, president of Pace University, is not an Honors Council member. Just it's an important distinction. Want you to know that. But if you are interested, we will have applications at the beginning of the year, and we look forward to reading them.
Yeah, this is a great way to get involved right away, and it's not just for first-year students. We have all 4 years, and Allie is Honors Council in Pleasantville, so she can also answer any questions about that. Allie's not in that picture though. We did this picture and Allie was not there. Oh, they're in spirit. All right.
We wanted to cover some selected honors accomplishments. So as I mentioned before, I talked about some prestigious scholarship winners. We have J.K. Watson, Fulbright, Cyber Corps, Department of Defense. I think it's called something different now. Millennium Fellows as well. We've had a number of top commencement award winners because our students are typically those go-getters looking for community and all of that. We have Jefferson Award winners. We usually have a couple of students attend the Disney College program each semester. I know I'm planning for one of my own advisees to attend the Disney College program in the fall, so we're looking forward to that. The Federal Reserve Challenge team and Model UN, our Fed team on the New York City campus is kind of like our football team. In Pleasantville, you all have football. We have Fed team in New York. And then we also have lots of Radio City Rockettes, Brooklyn Nets dancers, New York Knicks dancers, Broadway and TV stars. The photo on the bottom is Sky, who is a part of the Kimberly Akimbo on Broadway cast. And then if you looked or if you watched the SNL skit recently with Harry Styles, Aiden Powers is actually one of our honor students who was one of the 4 dancers on there, which is pretty cool. And then we've also had our students work on the Nobel Peace Prize. And so the photo at the top is with some of our Rockettes. We've kind of, Valeria on there actually rotates between being a Rockette and then she's also on Broadway in the show Just in Time. So our students, not only are they intelligent, they are also very talented as well.
So a few frequently asked questions. I think I saw in the chat somewhere, how many students are in the Honors College? It's about 1,100 total, combined with both campuses. So about 700 in the New York City campus and 400 on the Pleasantville campus. We do accept AP, IB, and college credits. For both, for AP, we're looking at scores of 4 or higher, except for computer science, we'll accept a 3. For IB, it's the higher level IB, of course, 4 or 5. And then additionally, yes, we do accept college credits as well. Just submit it to the registrar's office and we'll take a look at that. In terms of do we need to have a specific major to be in the Honors College? No, we accept all majors. We advise students regardless of their major and cover the whole gamut. So you're not going to be left out depending on whatever major you come in with or want to pursue. And then finally, do I need to live on the honors floor? Unless you are commuting, if you intend to be on campus, yes, you will have to live on the honors floor during your first year. And that's going to be 182 Broadway or Maria's Tower if you're in New York City, or Alumni Hall if you're going to be in Pleasantville.
And this slide is just a few examples of places that our students have worked or are currently working at prior and after graduating PACE as well. And one of our students actually just got a job at Goldman Sachs, I found out a few days ago. So I just wanted to mention that in our chat today with you guys.
And this is what our LinkedIn usually looks like whenever we sign on. It's just a bunch of our students getting jobs and internships. So if you have LinkedIn, please follow our page. We'll be reposting the jobs and the internships that our students are receiving. I know a couple of my students are interning currently. 3 of them are interning at Madison Square Garden. Ali, who's on our Zoom right now, is going to be interning as a clinical assistant at Memorial Sloan Kettering this upcoming summer. So this is just a bunch of the cool things that some of our honor students do.
Okay, so we're going to talk now about what next steps look like. We would love to see you at one of our upcoming PACE-bound events or the special interest tour. You could see the dates listed here for both New York City and Pleasantville. Please submit your tuition and housing deposits by May 1st, as Jackie mentioned. And as Bill mentioned in the chat, priorities before May 1st, we can start making your schedule, and you can get your priorities and preferences when it comes to housing. So the earlier the better for all of those things. If you deposit before April 9th, you'll receive an email on the 10th to select your orientation date and to submit your honors questionnaire, which is sent to your academic advisor, and we start putting your schedule together based off of all types of preferences that you have. You like morning classes, evening classes, your major, maybe other other disciplines you're interested in, what transfer credits you're bringing in. So again, the sooner the better, so we can start working on that and getting ahead of it while classes are available. Save your syllabi. This is really important. If you're taking college classes right now for dual enrollment, please save your syllabi because often Pace University will need them, the departments will need them in order to evaluate what you're taking. And it is a lot more difficult to chase them down later when you're no longer in that class. So if you are currently enrolled in dual enrollment, please save as a PDF that syllabus. You'll thank yourself later. If you took APs in your junior year and you're not planning on taking any more in your senior year, you can go ahead and College Board can send those scores over. If you're taking them in your senior year, you might want to wait to send them all at the same time so you don't have to pay multiple times. If you're requesting accommodations, this can take some time. So please go ahead and start prepping that paperwork and sending it to PACE. Give yourself ample time for that. And then save the date. So May 5th and May 8th is our next steps for Next Step webinar. So make sure to put that on your calendar for more information to come.
I'll just say for the webinar, it's kind of like it's one webinar, sort of 2 parts. May 5th will be about housing and accommodations. And May 8th is the one that's basically required of everyone, which is about orientation, welcome week, schedule making, mentoring. It's about all the parts of honors that's going to happen from basically May 8th through the first day of school. So that one is extremely important on May 8th. And as I said, May 5th is to talk about housing and the whole process for the summer. We will have the head of housing there. And we will have our student accessibility services there as well to talk about the accommodations process if that applies to you or your student.
And then also feel free to take a screenshot or a picture of the orientation dates listed here. The honors staff will be present at every single orientation on this list, but we really highly recommend that you attend and be available for the dates that have the asterisks next to them. Those are our honors specific orientations. It's for all students, but it's really where most of our honor students attend. It's a great way to meet all the other honor students. And so we really recommend coming to that. But if you cannot attend those dates, we will be available for any of the dates listed below.
The honors housing application is usually due right after the second New York City honors orientation and right before the second Pleasantville one. So this is a great chance to meet future roommates if you're unsure about who you want to live with.
And if you want to follow us or reach out to us, this is our contact information. And this is where you can also find on our Instagram accounts, like upcoming events and all that good stuff. So if you want to like come to an event in Pleasantville, you can find us on there. If you want to go to event in the cities on the campus, you can go to event there, and that's how you'll find the information.
And if you want to speak to a specific advisor, but you're not sure who, you can, like Michelle said, you could send an email to the general honors accounts, and Michelle is behind the honors Pleasantville one, and our student aides are behind the New York City one, and they will redirect and get it to the correct advisor who will then respond to you. So if you have any questions for us and you haven't asked it throughout this presentation, you were holding off, this is your chance to do so. So you could put it in the Q&A section. You could also use the chat. I am gonna stop sharing to allow, I think my student aides are on now and can just quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll answer some questions live that we feel that everyone needs to kind of hear, and we'll continue to answer some in the chat. So if you have questions, please put them, as I said, in the chat or the Q&A section. We're not doing kind of raise hands, just put it there. And I will stop share so that Ben, who's in this picture, Ben and Sky can introduce themselves while we let questions come in. So Ben, since I just mentioned you in that picture, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys. That was me. That was my freshman year, and right after the first week there, that was crazy. But I am an honors student aide, obviously. I'm also an honors RA here in 15 Beekman, although we'll see what happens next year. And I'm a sophomore. I'm in the Lubin School of Business. I'm hospitality and tourism management, and I also have minors in Spanish and entrepreneurship. And then I'm also a J.K. Watson Fellow, which is a 3-year fellowship that gets different internships around New York City, which I found out through the Honors College. So shout out Mohini for that. And Sky, you want to go? Let's go next.
Hi everyone, I'm Sky. I'm a senior here at Pace. I'm a criminal justice major. I have biology, cybersecurity, and homeland security minors. Obviously, I'm also an honors student aide, and I currently have an internship at the Department of Investigation. I used to be an orientation leader, and yeah, so if you guys have any questions about anything like that, let me know.
Thank you guys. Just to reiterate, please put your questions in the Q&A, because in the chat it's hard to kind of keep track and somebody might have the same question as you and not be able to see it. Skimming the chat very quickly for some questions that I think apply to everyone, and my team can let me know if there's others that they want me to sort of answer live. There was a question I saw of like, I'm in Lubin and I'm also in honors. You could also be like, I'm in Dyson, I'm also in honors. What does that mean? So honors has every single major and minor. So if you are in Dyson, Lubin, Seidenberg, Sands, CHP, School of Ed, which is now part of Dyson, you are an honors student as well. So you have both identities. So as we mentioned in the advising slide, you are going to come to honors for your advising with the exception of Sands, who will do both. You will go to Sands and the Honors College. And so we will help shape your experience, but you are in both and you can change at any point. So Ben, we were just teasing with Ben about this today, but Ben started as a Dyson student and then in honors, and then had a change of heart and life plan and went to Lubin in honors. And so you can change your major and change your school, and that's okay. He went from Mohini's advisee to becoming, I think you've seen a few of us now, and Shad's advisee. And so we just kind of switched the student within the Honors College. We know kind of everybody at this point. And so everybody is taken care of within honors, no matter what your major or your minor is. I saw something about the lounges. We do have a dedicated lounge in New York City that's 24/7 that Chad mentioned, has study rooms and coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. And in Pleasantville, it's during business hours, so it's about 9 to 5 with also lounge space, coffee, tea, hot chocolate. They tend to have more snacks than we do because they have athletes who tend to be hungry. Trying to skim through. Will honors students of the same major be paired? I saw two different variations of that, both for rooming, for dorming, and for mentoring. As Flora said, for mentoring, it is up to kind of the student. They can indicate if they normally will match based off of major or school. But if the student, as Flora said, gave the examples, like I really want hiking, that really, like I want to find a hiking buddy. If that's really something that matters to them, we will look to see if any of our mentors kind of have that. Somebody might be like, I am obsessed with watching 1980s movies and seeing if then somebody else is into that. So we'll do our best, but automatically, unless we hear otherwise, we're going to match by major or school because it's a similar experience. And so we'll start there unless we hear otherwise. As for dorming or living together, we do not match our students by major. So students get to choose for the housing process. They can find a roommate or roommates usually that they connect with, have things in common. They can also go random like Mohini did. And then if they go random, what we do as myself and the housing director is we kind of go in and see what commonalities there are. And that's not always major. That's usually, do they smoke? Do they not smoke? Are they neat, tidy, organized? What time do they go to bed? Do they like music? We look for those factors and try to find matches that way. If students have indicated to us otherwise, like I really don't care about any of that, but I really want to live with another SANS student, if I know that, we will try to make that happen as well. We match based on gender unless a student indicates otherwise as well. So we do that within a suite for Pleasantville. It could be a mix of majors and things like that. If students are athletes and want to live with other athletes, we will work to accommodate that and try to make it honor students on the same team, or at the very least, honor students in the same season. So that way they kind of understand the waking up, the practice, all of that. But on the Pleasantville campus, I will say everyone has athletics is very much part of the culture. And so everyone kind of understands if their roommate needs to go to practice or has a game. But it's not just athletes. Allie can tell you she has some early mornings and some kind of for clinicals, you could have various hours. So we have students who are nurses who will be out very early in the morning for clinicals. We have students who are teachers. You got to get to school at 7 a.m. to start student teaching. So we have a lot of students that have various schedules. And I think that's, especially on the Pleasantville campus, everyone's kind of accommodating about that. And that shouldn't be something students should really worry about. I'm trying to skim Mohini or anybody else who saw questions that you think I really need to answer out loud. Let me know.
I have a quick one, Jackie.
Yeah.
Just for everybody asking about Pacebound, I am going to put that link for everybody to just view those remaining Pacebound dates so that there's no confusion across campuses or everything. So I am putting that link in the chat for those remaining dates. If you can't make it to Pacebound and you are from out of state, we do have a few out of state events going on. So my Florida students, if any of you are in the house, We have one of those coming up at the end of the month. Same with Florida and I believe California and I believe Boston.
I will say I saw it in the chat. May 1st is the hard and fast deadline for both SANS, regardless if you were honors or not, and for the Honors College for all majors. So you have to put in your housing deposit and you need to put in your tuition deposit by May 1st. So to otherwise, even though you were in honors, if you deposit after May 1st, you will lose your spot in honors. So May 1st is the deadline to deposit. The sooner you deposit, as I said, the better, because anyone who's deposited by April 10th, we will start working on your schedules, and you have even more priority usually in the housing process as well. I saw a lot of questions on how does the housing process work. That is what the May 5th webinar is about. Housing is going to go through every step of what the process looks like, what forms are due on what day, and how it all works. But the first step is getting in that housing deposit, and then we're going to open up the preferences for students to kind of put who they want to live with. Do they smoke? Are they neat? Are they tidy? All of that. And then you could start picking roommates, and it's a set process that goes throughout several months. Usually they find out who they're living with in August, beginning of August. He has not told me the dates yet, but that's what for May 5th is about. And the move-in was the dates Mohini was talking about for Welcome Week. So on a calendar for New York City, the move-in is August 26th. For Pleasantville non-athletes, the move-in is August 27th. If you're an athlete, they usually have you move in sooner. And all of this, again, will be in the Next Steps webinar, and will also be once you deposit in that email you will receive and your parents will receive from me on April 10th. I don't know if there was any other questions that needed to be answered live that anyone thought from the team. I saw something to reiterate. If you are a sophomore, junior, or senior, you do not have to live in honors housing. However, at least on the New York City campus, most of our honors upperclassmen stay in honors housing of their own accord. They have a good experience. They get very close with their honors roommate or their suite mates or their floor mates and choose to stay in honors housing, but we do not require it, and students can move off campus and do all kinds of things. But we do see that students choose to stay in honors housing on their own. I will say
Mackenzie, oh, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead,
Mackenzie asked a great question about California and attending the reception, even though you're attending an admitted student event. So there are some similarities, but one of the great things about the regionals is that you're going to meet other students from California that have been admitted. You will have time to mingle. I have had students that will leave the reception with their roommates all ready to go. So I always encourage students that even if you are attending an admitted student event in person in New York or Westchester, you still attend the regional because it is a little bit different of a program. And it also gives you the opportunity to meet those fellow Californians, Floridians that are also admitted to the university.
One thing I saw is in the chat about back to living with somebody in your same major, whether we encourage it or not. And as I was saying about athletics and everything else, it's really what's best for the student and what they're feeling, but it's not always best to live within your team. That's a kind of a great example. And we talk about if you had a hard practice or the game, you did not win the game, sorry. And then you have to go back to your roommate or roommates and they're all on your team. You do not kind of get to close that game and kind of step away from it. You sort of are going to go back to your room and kind of relive it. And so our athletes who have chosen to not live in their teams have found that really effective, that they could have their team friends for practice and the games and everything else, and have another group of friends and kind of have this big network, and to have some separation and some space. And that way, when they come home at night or in the morning, They do not need to continue to talk about drills or practices or layups or anything like that. They can kind of separate and talk about, reality TV, Love is Blind, whatever it may be that's on their minds, or their classes and things like that, and kind of have a break from it. And same thing for our students in New York City. For the majors, to stay, some of our SANS students love to stay together, and others want to have that space and have a different group of friends, and to not think about rehearsals and auditions, and to kind of just go home and kind of have that separation and that break. So really depends on the student, but kind of think about, do you want to be living within your team or your major 24/7, or would you like to have a step away from that?
Jackie, somebody
Yes.
asked about not dorms, on-campus jobs, on the Pleasantville campus. On-campus jobs, I can't speak for New York City, but I know at least for Pleasantville, we have a lot of different job opportunities for students. And we also have student orgs on campus where you can get leadership opportunities, just like the Honors Advisory Board and Honors Council. So with those jobs, we also have student-run businesses on campus, which are a great way for Lubin students to get involved. So if you have any questions about those things, I can also answer those.
And we have on-campus jobs on both campuses, Learning Commons, working as peer leaders, working as teaching assistants, working as student aides, as Sky and Ben are also student aides. So we have a lot, and research opportunities. Allie's doing research as well across schools. I did see a question about some clarification about the honors scholarship. So the honors scholarship is what you received in your admissions letter, in your acceptance letter, that said, congrats, you got into PACE and XYZ major. There was an amount on that in that letter, and that is the honors scholarship amount. So that's what you will receive each year for 4 years. And there isn't a separate one or an additional one once you join us in September. That is your honors scholarship. I keep getting the question of where will this be posted and will we get this? We usually, we need to download this and kind of get it out. So usually probably in about a week or so, you'll get an email either coming from me or admissions with the link to today's session. It'll usually be on YouTube. We sometimes hide the link so you wouldn't be able to just go on our YouTube and see it there, but it'll be a hidden link. And once you click on it, it'll appear. Our YouTube has videos from other webinars we've done, so you could see the past ones, but we will send this out probably, like I said, in about a week, in case you missed anything. But if you have any questions, as Michelle indicated, we have those two email addresses, honors_nyc@pace.edu and honors_plv@pace.edu. We are available this week. Next week is our spring break, so you may have a delayed response, and then we're back, but that would just be kind of next week. But we are still checking. If there are I see, as I said, some different. If there are no additional questions, then we are really excited to see you maybe on our special interest tour coming up, or one of the PACE bounds, or there's New York City has another event as well that some of you might have been invited to in April. Or if you've already deposited, then you'll be hearing from me in mid-April to start that schedule. And then we're really excited to see you on campus for orientation. Any other questions that pop up after tonight, feel free, like I said, to email us and we'll get to those and answer it. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Bye.